Good afternoon and welcome to Campervan Campout Hub. We have got a treat for you this afternoon. We have got Darren, the urban motorhome, and one half of Life Beyond Bricks, the lovely Tash. Now, I've got an interesting bit of trivia about these two, which I've been given permission to share. Did you know Tash, who is married to John, they both share the same birthday? How sweet is that? I don't know when it is, as long as John remembers. And Darren at school used to be a bouncer. Not on a nightclub. He was a really keen trampolinist, if that's a word. But his favourite sport was the trampoline. Is that actually true?
Yes, I'm pretty good on a trampoline, to be fair. How hard it may be to imagine, I am very good
It
on a
would have to
trampoline.
be pretty strong springs, I think, today. Have you been out on the bouncy castles?
No.
Now, these two, you all know these two, yeah? I'm sure you've seen them online. So they both make a real success of living and earning from a van and making it work as digital nomads. And this afternoon, they're going to unpack this, their story and how they came to it, because both of their stories is very different. Tash, it kind of happened by accident, and for Darren, it kind of happened, well, I suppose through accident, but through success of trying to, he was able to give up his job. So I'm going to hand over to them both. Please give them a Campout welcome to Tash and Darren.
Thank you very much. Zara?
Yeah. Lovely, thank you very much. So thank you all for coming out this afternoon. It's absolutely brilliant. This is a new talk for us.
Yeah, this is the first time, so yeah, take it
gentle.
easy.
Be gentle. Right.
Becoming a digital nomad. What is a digital nomad?
What is a digital nomad? So who here is looking to start working online? Anyone? Oh, okay.
Yeah, we've got a few over there.
So what's everyone else? What's everyone else here for?
They want to see where we get our money from.
Basically, yeah. They want to see how YouTube rich you are.
Yeah.
So yeah, if you're anything like myself, knew that, if you wanted to travel and earn, you'd have to figure out a way to earn money on the road. But I had absolutely no idea where to start or even how to start looking, to turn.
It's a real minefield, isn't it? Because online, if you type in earn money online, everyone wants to take your money to try and earn money online.
Exactly. They want to sell you a course to teach you how to earn online.
Yeah.
So hopefully what we can offer you this afternoon is some real-world practical advice and tips on how to start earning money on the road. So I guess a good place to start is, what is a digital nomad? So it's a person who earns a living working online in various locations of their choosing.
Yep, and that's pretty much what we do.
Pretty much what we do.
That is it.
Yeah. So obviously, great benefits. Sounds cheesy.
Yeah, but travel is, and the freedom of being where you are, where you want to be, and while earning on the same time is great, isn't it?
Exactly. So you've got your flexibility, obviously your freedom, which everyone says when it comes to travelling. Your freedom. But it is true.
It's true.
And obviously it gives you the opportunity to travel without kind of having to take extensive holidays from work, because obviously you can work whilst you're on the road.
But there is a few considerations to take into consideration. Double word there. Is you have to have a bit of self-discipline, work out how much you need to earn, and because you can't just jump straight into it, can you, like that?
Absolutely. So the easiest way to work out how you're going to start earning money online is to figure out how much you actually need every month.
Yeah.
Because, you don't need to go straight in with a high amount if actually you realise that you can live off of a smaller amount.
Yeah.
But it does take a lot of self-discipline, which I'll put my hands up and say that's been the hardest thing for me.
It's not easy.
When you're travelling and you just want to be outside looking at things and doing things, you're like, no, I've got to sit in and work. And obviously making sure you've got a decent workspace as well, because it is quite
100%.
hard when your living space becomes your workspace. You can't separate the two.
You can never switch. Sometimes you never switch off, so you do need to make some boundaries between that, because otherwise you're just 24/7 work.
Absolutely.
And that can be a bit hard.
Definitely. Here we go. So we've just got some of the places that we've actually worked from.
Yep.
Yeah.
Lovely.
Your face.
But you can park up in some beautiful places around Europe, and have the flexibility to do some work. Work a couple of days, then travel a couple of days, and this is basically why we do it.
Why we do it. Yeah, that there in Italy was amazing. Just parked up on the lake, but they don't all look like that. Sometimes they look like car parks. That's fine. So obviously there's a few different options for working online. So of course, the first one that we've got, which is what we've both done, is building a business or a brand. So obviously building an online business. So for example, your business.
So mine's a YouTube channel, which it goes into that. It does take time to build. All these different options are various different levels, aren't they? But it does take time.
Yes, and you definitely have to put your all in.
Yeah.
So it won't be an overnight success. You do have to put a lot of hours in, but obviously eventually you will reap the rewards. So obviously that's one way.
Yep, remote jobs.
Yep, so remote jobs, which is where you might be able to either keep an existing job or obviously start a new job, but working for someone else.
Yeah.
So basically just doing your normal job, but from anywhere. So we've got quite a few friends that do that, haven't we?
There's a lot of people that do that now as well. And I mean, COVID helped that as well, didn't it?
Definitely.
That's one plus that come out of that, I suppose. A lot of remote working did get kick-started, really, didn't it?
Definitely. And then obviously we've got the digitalizer physical job. So this is if you've got obviously a job or you've got a skill set. And so for example, like my husband John's is all hands-on because he's a motorhome technician. But there are ways that you can digitalize that to then take that on the road as well and to do that remotely.
That's where a lot of people get stuck, isn't it? Because they're in a job and they don't know how to then transfer that to on the road and online. So, but we'll go through that further into the talk. But there is ways.
Yeah, there is ways. So here we go. So we'll just start with how we came about doing it. So I'll start with me on this side. So obviously that's my business there. So I'm a remote virtual assistant. So I deal mainly in admin. Obviously, a virtual assistant could be absolutely anything that you want it to be. So I do admin, but it could be, sort of social media manager, bookkeeping. It could be, there's loads of things that if you look up virtual assistant, it's a very umbrella term. But mine specifically is for admin.
Pretty much anything that can be done online, a VA could do it.
Absolutely.
So any job on that, yeah.
Definitely. And then obviously Life Beyond Bricks is obviously myself and John. We've got the travel channel, obviously content creators, not so much nowadays. We kind of have other things, but both on the platforms and in print. So I'm also a magazine columnist, so I write a monthly column. Again, that can obviously be done from anywhere because I am talking about my travels. And then obviously we do jobs which are more physical, but they're still on the road, such as speaking and coming to events and helping people. And then you've got your side. Yeah,
so me, like I say, I'm predominantly content creator. I work on YouTube. I've got a few channels. So that's my main job. But then I also do, I'm a brand ambassador of various brands. So I get paid to work with brands. And then other jobs like speaking and being on the road with different places.
Definitely. Yeah. But I suppose the biggest thing was, how do you start that? How do you go about finding, clients? How do you do that? So for me, it was actually networking. So I would go to shows, I would get chatting to people, I would talk about what I do, find out what they do, and it all happened very naturally. In fact, my job came about by complete accident when you asked me one day, can you help me out with some stuff on YouTube, like comments, and help me organise. Does anyone remember Motorhome Mondays when you used to watch it? Yeah. A few people do. So I used to actually... What day is it? You know what day it is.
Yes.
So obviously I actually started by helping you, didn't I?
Yeah.
You said I need to help coordinate the questions. I need someone to help me coordinate that every week. So all I have to do is get the questions and film it. Yeah. And my job just came about from there.
Yeah.
And then I stumbled upon something called a virtual assistant online. I did a free course with a lady called Belinda, I think, through the VA Academy. And that was it, and it just went from there. And she broke it down really simply and said, you don't have to be a graphic designer, or, web host. You can literally do someone's admin and emails. And it developed from there. So perhaps have a think about what you do now, see if there's a way that you can turn that into something.
And that was really because I kind of fell into mine slowly, because I had the YouTube channel, but I was also working full-time as a lorry driver. And as the channel was growing and getting more popular and getting busier, I couldn't keep up with things. So that's hence why I then had to get some help. But then it got to a point when I could then make the jump and leave work. So that's how I then fell into mine. It was, it was always an idea there in the back of my mind. I'd like to get to that point, but it did take quite a long run up until I jumped. But yeah, that's now where I am. And then we earn various different ways, from like on advertising revenue, sponsored content, and various other things, isn't it?
Absolutely. So the biggest thing for me is I would say just get chatting to people,
Yeah.
get networking, get chatting, and it builds from there. And that's how I found my other clients,
Yeah.
just through chatting to you, chatting to other people,
Yeah.
and go from there.
Right. Digital jobs.
So what we've done is obviously people always say to you, this is what you can do online, but sometimes it helps to have actual examples. So these
Yeah.
are just examples that we've pulled of people we
Yep.
know that do jobs. So this is just, obviously it's not an exhaustive list.
No.
You know, there's millions of things you could do, but hopefully it will, you know, someone will see that and it will spur in your mind, oh yeah, that's a good idea, or I could do that. Because of course it's never too late to retrain either.
No. And these do look a bit daunting, but these are for every level. So, you know, I'm not, you know, at the top of my game and need someone that is making apps to the, you know, standard of what other companies are using. So if I needed something, I only need someone that's got a little bit more knowledge than me. So you don't have to be world class in any of these to do them for someone else. If you know a little bit of information about any of these subjects, you can monetize that to people that have no knowledge or have no want to do it.
Exactly, and no skill is a silly skill.
No.
So for example, again, I always thought that being an organised pain in the backside, I never considered that to be a skill. But then for someone else who actually needs that in their life, it's a godsend.
I need help, a lot of help.
You need a lot of help.
I need a lot of help.
Yeah. So yeah, no skill is a silly skill. So really have a think about what you've got, what you do, and see how that could be applied to somebody else. So that's just an example of jobs, obviously, you can build up yourself, and businesses you could build up yourself.
Yep.
And then again, these are examples of just some remote jobs, so working for someone else. So it's your actual everyday job, but you can just do it from anywhere.
And there's a lot of job boards now, online job boards, that have got sections dedicated to remote jobs now. So if you are looking, then you can go to these websites and then just type in and go to that section, remote jobs, and start having a little look and work your way through them. And again, a lot of them do come with training. No previous experience is usually necessary. They do provide quite a lot of training, don't they?
Absolutely. And it's some of those things where, again, we've had examples of people we know, like our friends, who, you know, they've had a job that they've done at a place of work, but once they've actually chatted to their management, they've been able to take their existing job and they've agreed to move it online. So it could be that you already have that job. And it's just a case of having that chat.
It's worth a chat.
Seeing if you can get the equipment and making sure you can do it from anywhere.
Yeah.
So again, not an exhaustive list, just some real world examples that we know of people that have been able to do that. And then physical jobs with a twist.
Yes.
So obviously when we're talking about being a digital nomad, we're talking about working from anywhere. But this
is where people get into a bit of a brick wall, don't they?
Absolutely. But I mean, for example, so here's John, looking lovely. So obviously he doesn't actually work online. His work is still physical. It's just that he now takes it, because obviously we live in the van, so he takes his tools and he can actually travel and do it on the move. So we've actually just spent 2 weeks on our friend's driveway whilst they worked on their van, and then we've moved to somewhere else and John's worked on their van. So even if you do have a physical job that you think, oh, I really can't, you know, I can't make it digital, there might be a way you could actually do it on the move, and then you're still traveling as well as earning.
There is a lot. So like all these, you could become like either a teacher. If you've got 20 years experience, you know, being a chef or something, then that is experience that you have over someone else that's just starting, and you can monetize that because you can share that with someone for the sake of, you know, £20 an hour or a little course or something like that to help that person avoid the mistakes that you know.
Yep.
So all these can become, you know, either a teaching role or a consultant role. It's just trying to, you know, twist it, put a little twist on the physical part of it, isn't it, and the physical location.
Definitely. So following on from the physical part of it, so again, I'll use John as an example. He could then take that to be a consultancy instead.
Yeah.
You know, if people got a problem, they could try and ring him up and see if it's something he could fix over the phone, or he could actually teach people, you know, certain things about working on the van.
Yeah,
and that's how you could digitalise it and do it from anywhere.
We're in such a technical world now that there's no reason that you can't be like, you know, do video calls and diagnose things, you know, like that on a screen, and help people and teach people to do what you want what they want to learn.
Absolutely. Here we go. So obviously thinking about tools, equipment and resources, because obviously you do have to consider You don't want to be carrying loads of stuff with you, obviously on the
Yeah.
road, depending on what your remote job's going to be. So things to consider. So in the physical, your main ones are probably going to be a laptop, phone, tablet. I would say
Yeah.
noise cancelling headphones, and I know a few of my friends at work
Yeah,
remotely
you
would
want
agree.
some decent headphones.
So if you're somewhere like this and there's lots
Yeah.
going on and you need to switch off, that's
Yeah.
always really important.
Yeah. Then you've got the software side. So again, if you're working online, it's all going to be, quite a lot of it is online. So I use Google Drive a lot. I'm heavily into the Google ecosphere. So I use them to try and organize all my stuff and keep all my files and any of my images or anything I need, all my videos are all online. So if I need to, I can go onto any computer. I can then access anything I need without a problem.
Absolutely, and then you've got your shared software. So
Yeah.
obviously Google Drive we use a lot.
Yeah.
One of my other clients, we use Notion and Slack because
Yeah.
then there's a team of us, but all of us can access in this one hub. And we use Canva a lot, don't we?
Yeah, yeah.
Which is another collaborative piece of software where you can have multiple users and people can dial in and make changes.
Well,
so
this was made on Canva. We created this together on Canva.
Absolutely.
From different locations.
Yeah, from completely different
Yeah.
parts of the country.
And it's-
So yeah, once you've got that, again, whether you're
Yeah.
working on your own or in a team, there's ways that you can make it work.
Yeah.
The other thing I would say consideration is your insurances. So do double check what insurances you need for your business
Yeah.
to protect yourself, protect your equipment, and obviously any sort of qualifications or anything you need for the field of work that you are in.
Yeah, it's definitely worth having just a check on that. Have a little quick Google and phone a few companies just to make sure.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
There we go. So
Right.
these are some of the hints, tips and tricks that we've picked up over sort of the last few years.
Yes. Don't be afraid. I read that part and then I was looking at the top.
Stop there.
Yeah, I was reading the middle bit there. Get out of your van, go to a coffee shop, garden centre or a pub. This is a big one, isn't it, to be fair? Because like you said, if you are travelling on the road in your motorhome, in your camper van, that is your home, your chill out space, but also your workspace. So sometimes it can get a bit blended and then you don't really then, you might slack off a little few days. So if you go to a coffee shop, I know you like coffee shops.
Yes, I had to sort of, going from working in a traditional environment to having a year out, a gap year travelling, to then starting to work remotely.
Yeah.
It was a really big lesson in having to be, I thought I was quite a self-disciplined person,
Yeah.
but I actually had to really put some boundaries in place, not just for my
Yeah.
work, but for my mental health as well.
Yeah, 100%.
So I definitely like to take my work out. I like to find a nice coffee shop somewhere. Garden centres, they're always
Yeah.
really good. Places like that. So sometimes get outside, get out of the van.
Yeah.
Because otherwise it's quite hard to switch off.
And this one is a big one for both of us. We both think we're superheroes. I am a superhero, really, but we do think we are superheroes, and we set majorly unrealistic targets. Like, I'm going to get this to-do list done today, and I don't go nowhere near it.
Yeah.
And then you feel bad about it. So you need to set realistic targets, and we do need to follow this ourselves. But it is a big one for everyone. Be realistic.
Definitely. I find I can't remember what it's called, but there's like that 4 square thing where you put things in order of priority.
Yep.
And that really helped me to map my day out. But yeah, Thank you very much.
There we go.
There we go. But that really helped me to map my day out because I
Yeah.
knew I had to be
Yeah.
more strict. And again, work-life balance. So for example, I actually don't have any of my work software or emails on my phone. I've only got it on my MacBook so that once I'm done, there's no temptation for me to just
100%.
quickly pick up an email or check a message. I'm done, I've checked out, and I'm not, until I log
Yeah.
on again. That's it, and I had to be really strict to myself.
Yeah,
on
yeah.
that.
And I mean, we're good friends, so we talk all the time. But I might work quite late at night sometimes, but then I try and only send emails or messages to the work ones because I don't want to disturb any of the team when they're trying to have their downtime, just because that's not fair on them. They can pick it up in the morning. Nothing's urgent. It's really not. But it's just about boundaries, isn't it?
Definitely. And a day off is a day off. Following on from that, again, it's not just, I'll do that quickly.
Yeah.
If you set yourself a day off, have the day off. Because again, that's something I've really struggled with.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
And working hours again. If you want to try and keep it, structured, try and set yourself some working hours, because then it becomes that is the job, and it doesn't blend into the rest of your life, and you just continue, 6 hours instead of just working a nice short, sharp 3 hours, quite efficient, you don't want it to just bleed over, do you?
Absolutely. I mean, the only thing I would say is, depending on what the work is that you're doing, if it's
Yeah.
a creative outlet, sometimes that doesn't, you can't just sit down and
No.
knock out a blog post or something like that in 3 hours.
Do it
Yeah,
now.
exactly.
It doesn't work that way.
So be realistic. If it, you know, so for me, it might take me double the time to do a blog post because I'll have to pause and come back to it. So again, set those realistic goals, but yeah, also set your boundaries, and don't struggle. Find support. You know, people in your field, Facebook groups, etc. It's always lovely to be able to share that with someone else that understands what you're, you know, what you're going through.
Yeah, don't be afraid to put your phone on Do Not Disturb either. If you're trying to do some work and you're trying to, you know, just knuckle down on a task, don't worry about the phone. Just turn that off, turn it on silent, crack on with your work, and then get back to it.
Definitely. And obviously be flexible and ready to adjust.
Yeah. And then the last one that I was going to say is the YouTube. So if you are looking for a piece of software for your industry, for your niche, definitely search on YouTube, like find the best piece and then do the verses. So this piece versus this piece to find the best tools, and you don't have to then buy them all. You can see there's plenty of people on YouTube that have bought them, tested them, and you know, again, going to the groups that are in like Facebook groups. There's Facebook groups for everything that can really cut your learning curve down and save you some money as well.
Definitely, and always make use of the free trials.
Yes.
Because a lot of them do come with like a week or two's free trial or a month's free
definitely
trial.
do that.
Make the most of those. Don't spend before you have to.
No. Because there's so much you could buy online. There really is.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely.
All right.
There we go.
There we
I think
go.
we can run it over to some questions if anyone's got any questions.
If anyone's got any questions, feel free to ask.
Yeah, please do. Thank you, guys. That was really good.